It was a beautiful, sunny day, perfect for a trip to the beach. Peppa Pig, George, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig were packing their things, excited for a day full of fun. "I'm going to build the biggest sandcastle ever!" Peppa exclaimed as she placed her bucket and spade in her beach bag. "Dinosaur Castle," George said, holding his toy dinosaur. "Let's go, everyone!" Daddy Pig called out as they headed off for their day at the beach. When they arrived, Peppa and George were amazed by the golden sand and sparkling sea stretching out before them. "Look, George! The beach is huge," Peppa said, already imagining her giant sandcastle. They spread out their beach blanket, and Mummy Pig set up the umbrella. "Time to put on your sun cream," Mummy Pig reminded them. "Yes, Mummy," Peppa and George chorused, excited to start their adventure. Peppa wasted no time grabbing her bucket and spade. "I'm going to build a castle right here," she declared, digging into the soft sand. George watched closely and started digging next to her, trying to make his own sandcastle. "Castle," he said, patting the sand with his little hands. "Let's build the biggest castle together, George," Peppa suggested. George nodded, and together they began piling up the sand. Soon, Peppa's friends arrived to join the fun. Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, Rebecca Rabbit, and Pedro Pony came running across the sand, waving excitedly. "Peppa! We're here!" Susie called out. "Let's build a giant sandcastle," Danny suggested. "Yes, a castle big enough for all of us," Peppa agreed. Everyone grabbed their buckets and spades, ready to work together on the biggest sandcastle ever. Peppa, George, and their friends decided to work together to create one massive sandcastle with towers, walls, and even a moat. "Let's make towers over here," Susie said, pointing to the corners of the sandcastle. "I'll dig the moat around it," Danny added, starting to dig a trench in the sand. Peppa smiled. "This is going to be the best sandcastle on the whole beach." Everyone agreed and got to work, laughing and chatting as they built. As the sandcastle began to take shape, Peppa had an idea. "Let's decorate it with seashells," she said. "Good idea," Rebecca Rabbit replied. They all set off to collect shells from the shore. "Look at this one," George said, holding up a shiny shell. Peppa helped him place it on one of the sandcastle towers. Soon, their creation was sparkling with colorful shells. "It looks amazing," Peppa said, admiring their hard work. While the others worked on their giant sandcastle, George had his own idea. He wanted to make a castle just for his toy dinosaur. "Dinosaur Castle," George said, carefully shaping the sand into a small castle for his toy. "That's a great idea, George," Peppa said, helping him decorate it with more shells. George's dinosaur sat proudly inside his sandy fortress. "Roar!" George growled, making everyone laugh. A sunny day. It was another beautiful morning in Peppa Pig's neighborhood. The sun shone brightly through the curtains of Peppa's bedroom, waking her up with its warm glow. Peppa sat up in bed, her face lighting up with excitement. Asterisk, "It's a perfect day for playing outside." Asterisk, she said, jumping out of bed. Peppa quickly put on her favorite red dress and hurried downstairs. In the kitchen, Mummy Pig was preparing breakfast, and Daddy Pig was sipping his coffee. George, Peppa's little brother, was already munching on his favorite cereal. Asterisk, good morning, George. Asterisk, Peppa said cheerfully. Asterisk, do you want to play outside today? Asterisk, dinosaur. Asterisk, George replied, holding up his toy dinosaur. It was his favorite toy, and he never went anywhere without it. Asterisk, of course, we'll bring Mr. Dinosaur too. Asterisk, Peppa giggled. After finishing their breakfast, they rushed outside, eager to begin their day of fun. The magic of muddy puddles. As soon as Peppa and George stepped outside, they spotted the most wonderful thing, a giant muddy puddle, It had rained the night before, leaving behind the perfect opportunity for Peppa's favorite activity, jumping in muddy puddles. Muddy puddles. Peppa shouted with delight. Without wasting a moment, she jumped in, sending mud splashing everywhere. Jump with me, George. George, holding tightly onto his dinosaur, took a small leap into the puddle, laughing as mud splattered across his boots. Splash, splash, splash. Peppa sang as she danced around the puddle. Soon, their friends Susie Sheep and Danny Dog came over, curious about all the noise. What are you doing? Susie asked, smiling at the sight of her friends covered in mud. We're jumping in muddy puddles. Come and join us. Peppa invited. Susie and Danny laughed and joined the fun, splashing around with Peppa and George until they were all covered from head to toe in mud. It was the best way to start the day. #3. A picnic idea. After jumping in muddy puddles for a while, Peppa's tummy began to rumble. I'm hungry. She said, stopping her splashing. Let's have a picnic. Susie and Danny agreed, and the friends quickly ran back inside to gather picnic supplies. Peppa found a big basket, and Mummy Pig helped her pack sandwiches, apples, and a few delicious cookies. George added some carrots, and Susie brought a bottle of juice. We'll have the best picnic ever. Peppa declared as they set off for the park. The sun was shining, and the air smelled fresh after the rain. When they arrived at the park, they found the perfect spot under a big, shady tree. This is lovely. Susie said as they laid out the blanket and began to unpack the food. They all sat down and enjoyed their delicious picnic, chatting and laughing about their morning in the muddy puddle. The balloon festival. As they were finishing their picnic, Peppa heard something exciting in the distance. It was a bright and sunny morning, and Peppa Pig was playing in the garden with her little brother, George, when Mummy Pig came outside with exciting news. Peppa, George, we're going on a train journey tomorrow. Peppa's eyes lit up with excitement. A train journey? Hooray! She had never been on a real train before and couldn't wait to experience it. Dinosaur train? George asked, holding up his favorite toy dinosaur. Maybe we'll see dinosaurs along the way. Peppa giggled, knowing that George always found a way to include dinosaurs in every adventure. The night before the trip, Peppa and George were busy packing their bags. Peppa put her favorite teddy bear, clothes, and a picture she had drawn into her small suitcase. George, of course, packed his toy dinosaur, some snacks, and his favorite pajamas. What do you think we'll see on the train, Mummy? Peppa asked while folding her clothes. We'll be traveling through the countryside, so you'll see lots of trees, hills, and maybe even some animals. Mummy Pig said with a smile. Peppa felt a flutter of excitement in her tummy. She imagined the train speeding along the tracks with the beautiful countryside whizzing past the window. The next morning, Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig arrived at the train station. The platform was bustling with activity, people were pulling their suitcases, and the sound of trains whistling filled the air. Look, Peppa, there's our train. Daddy Pig pointed to the long, shiny blue train waiting on the tracks. Peppa and George's faces lit up. It's so big! Peppa exclaimed, bouncing up and down with excitement. All aboard, called Miss Rabbit, who was working as the train conductor. Peppa and her family boarded the train and found their seats. Peppa pressed her nose to the window, eager to watch the world go by. As the train began to move, Peppa heard familiar voices coming from the seats behind them. She turned around and saw her friends Susie Sheep, Pedro Pony, Rebecca Rabbit, and Emily Elephant all sitting with their families. Susie, Pedro, Rebecca, Emily, Peppa called out, waving excitedly. Peppa, they replied, giggling. It turned out they were all going on the same journey. Miss Rabbit came by to check everyone's tickets, and the friends quickly made plans to explore the train together. Let's go and see the dining car, Pedro suggested. And after that, we can visit the engine room, Peppa added eagerly. Peppa and her friends set off to explore the different compartments of the train. The first stop was the dining car, where the smell of freshly baked cakes and sandwiches filled the air. Yum! Look at all the food, said Rebecca Rabbit. Miss Rabbit was also serving as the chef and offered them some delicious snacks. After having a quick bite, the group made their way to the observation car, where they had a panoramic view of the countryside. Wow! You can see everything from here, Emily Elephant said, pressing her trunk to the glass. The trees, fields, and hills seemed to stretch forever, and Peppa spotted cows and sheep grazing in the distance. Suddenly, the train hit a small bump on the tracks, causing everyone to wobble in their seats.